Hey, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the 25th of September, 2014. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. Going to be a mini podcast today. I got several things I just want to get into, so stick around for the next half an hour. Yes, that's as long as the mini podcasts are. Not too many breaks, but I will take a few. Anyway, lots of things going on. News out that as soon as a successor can be found, Eric Holder, Attorney General of the United States, is stepping down. Thank goodness maybe we can now put his butt in jail, but I bet he's going to try to stay out. I don't know. So many things going on with that as well. Syria is being bombed for no apparent reason whatsoever. Well, no, there is, because this government, Washington, D.C., and the military-industrial complex and all that, created an enemy, and now they have to get rid of them because now the general population of the United States has now figured out that the Washington, D.C. created an enemy. So the truth is coming out, folks. The truth is just coming out. People are seeing it for what it is. There is, a definite reason why people are upset. A definite reason why people are now leaving the mainstream media, that's in quotes, in droves. Why they are not watching them anymore, and now there are certain things that are happening in the mainstream media. Different networks are trying to change things and get viewers back. Different shows. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to say this. I heard someone say that radio, terrestrial radio is going to be completely gone within 10 years. I would say it's going to be sooner. I also say and think if trends continue the way they are, television news, network news, cable news, all of that is going to be completely gone within the next 5 years. If not, then it's going to be, gobbled up by the, state-run organizations like, let's just say it's going to look more like Russia and state-run TV in China than it is on a free market system as it is now. So things are changing, folks. I don't know what to tell you. There are so many things in the works coming down the line as far as, just everything that you could think of, that you can imagine happening, is pretty much happening. Fox and Friends has a great story, destroying ISIS and their hateful ideology against women, all at the same time. Check out this female fighter pilot from UAE, United Arab Emirates, leading the bombing blitz against the terrorists. So there you go. You got women in the planes bombing the crap out of these terrorists that we funded and set up and all that. It's just, it's amazing, folks. It really is. So, there's a picture there. I'm going to put this up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page so you can take a look at it. She's given the thumbs up. So that's kind of cool. Also from Manchester, New Hampshire, a high school is locked down after a former student was seen entering the school with a gun. And I said, and I'll put this up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page as well. I said, that's it. Enough. Arm the staff, janitors, teachers, etc. Period. Everyone needs to understand one thing. Second Amendment. period. Every single state and governor or former governor Bloomberg that proposes any gun control law is in direct violation of the Second Amendment. Can't handle the truth? Get the hell out of the country. I'm sure China or Russia would love your citizenship. Bye. Don't let the border hit you in the ass on the way out. That's what I say. And I stand by that, so you can get pissed off at me all you want. A man with a weapon in custody after Manchester, New Hampshire school locked down. A man is in custody after someone was seen entering the Manchester, New Hampshire high school with a gun Thursday morning, police said. The person in custody is a former student at West High School, and he did have a weapon. Manchester police told WBZ TV's Chris McKinnon an authentic-looking pellet gun was recovered from the suspect, according to police. Classes will not get out early. But many parents were choosing to have their children dismissed, according to officials. Police identified the suspect as 21-year-old Damian J. Johnson and said he was found in an alternative classroom where a teacher and a few other people were in the room with the pellet gun and a knife. He was apprehended without a struggle, authorities said. The school went into lockdown after the 21-year-old former student was seen with a gun tucked in his waistband entering the building, according to police. Police said that all students were safe as they actively searched the building for the person suspected to have the firearm. Quote, "We take all witness accounts very seriously," unquote. Police spokesman Brian O'Keefe told WBZ News Radio 1030. The lockdown is a precautionary measure and no threats were made, police said. New Hampshire Governor Maggie Hansen praised the action of first responders in a statement on Thursday. Quote, "In the face of dangerous situation, their actions ensured that our students and educators were safe from harm, and I'm deeply grateful that the situation ended peacefully," unquote, she said. Now, that is probably a paragraph of, just fluff. Now, I say that because of the fact that it didn't say much. It was basically statements, okay? And that article is also linked up at Wayne S. Pierce Show on Facebook. The bottom line is, folks, we have a right to protect ourselves. We have a right to protect our children. We have a right to protect our coworkers, no matter where it's at, manufacturing, schools, whatever, it doesn't matter. The Second Amendment covers us. That is our license to carry a weapon, period. I don't give a crap what your state's constitution says about your right to bear arms. The federal Constitution and Bill of Rights says it. That's it. That's the rule of law. And if governors think otherwise, we'll accept their resignation in the next 72 hours. Now, a lot of people are saying we need to, and I'll go on this side as well, because I see this coming out as being a demonization tactic of the left. Their whole goal is to ban all firearms. Ban them. Hell, they're trying to ban you filming in a state park. Did you get that? Did you get that news lately? They're trying to ban you they're trying to ban you from filming in state parks. Okay? Washington state parks. Right, I'll put this up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. You need a permit for filming or photography in Washington state. And it's incredible because it is now regarded, in my interpretation of what I've seen so far, regarded as a crime. You're a photographer, you go camping, you're in a state park, you want to take a picture of some birds, trees, you got some pine trees there, you got some fir trees you want to take a picture, you got some flowers you want to take a picture of. No, you got to have a permit now to do all that. Okay, we don't live in the United States of America. We don't live in a free society anymore. We don't live under freedom or liberty or peace or anything of that nature. We don't. We now have to get permission to breathe because we might be spewing out some sort of carbon, and it might be deadly to somebody standing around us. I mean, I know that's ridiculous and that probably will never happen, but you see how ridiculous the laws are. I don't condone violence. I never have and I never will. I do support defense. So anybody that comes against you and your God-given rights, then you have the obligation and duty to rebel against that, period. If you have a knowledge of the law, of the Constitution, of things that are lawful and constitutional, you have an obligation and duty to stand upon those things and those foundations and tell the tyrants around you, I do not consent to your unconstitutional and unlawful laws that you've implemented in this city. That includes free speech zones, that includes permits, and all of that to film anywhere. No. Now, if you're a production company and you're filming in a city and you're renting, that's a totally different story because there are certain obligations you have as a company and as a city to work together. That's why there's film commissions in your city. But you're going to go camping for the weekend and take a shot of a nice flower next to a tree in a park, and you need a license and a permit to do that? No, I don't think so. Bottom line is, folks, it's time to stand up and say enough's enough. It's time to tell your representatives, we hire you. You do not do what we want you to do. We will fire your ass and we will slander your name all over the place, figuratively speaking, but we will tell you what we want done, and if you don't do it, we will kick you out of office. And that includes your city council members, that includes your mayor, that includes your governor, that includes your representatives in Washington, D.C. If they don't like the people coming together and telling the rest of the politicians in their area that they work for the citizens, if they don't like that, we'll help them pack to go to a country that is more in line with their fascist, Marxist, socialist, communist political ideologies, because we don't want that here in the United States of America. I'll be back right after this. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from The Views Expressed. Please come join me on The Views Express Live, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us, and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network. Thank you. Hey, folks, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show mini podcast. Yes, so I've only got a few minutes left. My mini podcasts are usually about a half hour long. The usual podcasts are about an hour, maybe more. Come join me on the Views Express Live today, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network on Spreaker.com and also on freeamericaradio.us. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, even if you disagree with me, email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Hey, I'm always wanting to hear from you. So, there you go. Anyway, lots of things going on. I ranted for half of the program here, but I want you all to know that it's very, very easy to point fingers. I think you all know that. I think you also know that it's harder to accept anything that is outside your little realm of understanding. Oh, what's the solution? To understand it. To get rid of your fear by knowing what it is you're scared of. It's an overall general statement. But the fact of the matter is that we all know that something is wrong. We all know that we don't have to judge so harshly if we know the subject or know the person or know why certain things have happened the way they do. Now, I know that's all general statements, and I know people are going to say, that's bullcrap. Why, you want to stay in constant judgment of something you don't understand? What, you want to continue to criticize something you don't understand? I just want to close my eyes and just be away from all of that and I want to go hide in the corner and put my blinders on and just believe everything that the state-run media tells me. Well, then you are the biggest idiot on the face of the planet, so, hey. Well, I don't want to get into your insanity because there's enough going on for me to try to sift through to keep my own sanity, okay? So you can go sit in the corner with your blinders on. That's fine. But there is a bigger issue at hand. Who's behind the curtains running the show? Me having a theater background for many years, I can tell you that you have to listen to the director. The director then looks at the property manager, basically the prop person, to make sure all the props are where they need to be. They have to instruct, or the director or producer has to instruct, or somebody does, has to instruct the stage manager to make sure that those props are there. You know, so it goes on down from there to the volunteer who is helping the house manager and the ushers seat people prior to the start of the show. So there's all these people working together, but what you're getting is you're getting the show, but you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Here's what's going on behind the scenes. We have a so-called president who absolutely positively has screwed this country from one side to the other. This so-called president has the worst foreign policy that any other president has ever had. Yeah, others have screwed up. Jimmy Carter comes to mind. President Ford comes to mind. Nixon had an idea of what could be positive about foreign policy, So he sent his little minion, Mr. Henry Kissinger, out to China, and now we've been screwed ever since. Here's what's going on behind the scenes. We have this man by the name of Peter Thiel, and he seems to be a smart cookie, but he's also a former CEO of PayPal. He's also been at the Bilderberg meetings several years in a row. And over at the Daily Caller, dailycaller.com, Jamie Weinstein talks to Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel talks politics, living forever, and the need for the GOP to get smarter reps. Do you see, just with that headline, where this is going? I'm not sure. I just want to put this disclaimer out right now. I am not sure what's going to happen next week or next month or next year. But I know that midterm elections are coming up. And if we don't do something, if something isn't done, we're screwed. Okay? Libertarian tech mogul Peter Thiel, he's not a libertarian, folks, says the GOP needs to bolster its ranks with smarter people in Congress. During an extensive interview with the Daily Caller, the PayPal founder and author of the new book 0 to 1 Notes on Startups or How to Build the Future discusses his 2012 financial support for then Senate candidate Ted Cruz. Quote, "Well, I think he's very smart," unquote, Thiel said of Cruz, who is now the junior senator from Texas. Quote, "I think one of the challenges we have in the Republican Party is our representatives, our senators, are somewhat lower IQ than people on the other side. So I think there is something to be said for getting some really smart people in there," unquote. Besides his support for Cruz, Thiel was also a major donor to Ron Paul's 2012 presidential super PAC. Asked whom he would be more likely to support in the 2000 presidential race, Cruz or Paul's son, Senator Rand Paul, Thiel said, quote, "They both have strong candidates," unquote. They both would be strong candidates. Misquoted. Yes, they would, by the way. He goes on to say, in this segment of the DC's interview, Thiel also gives his view of the IRS scandal, the minimum wage, immigration reform, and much more. I put that up on Free America Radio on Facebook as a preview of what's coming up. Question: If, in fact, the Republicans get control of the Senate and the Democrats have the House, do you understand what's going to happen? The can is going to be kicked down the road a little more because people cannot stand the fact that they have to actually do some work to make this country run. Oh, and by the way, the Constitution does say they're only supposed to meet once a year, not live there in Washington, D.C. and work every day. I can go to Congress and make one statement, and all of them would be leaving the chamber. This is America. This is the United States. We, the people, rule. You, the politician. You are our employee. We are the employer. You either do what we tell you to do, or you can pack your bags and go back to your little towns and your little offices and do whatever you want to do in the private sector. You are put on notice. Every single politician in those chambers, probably all 435 of them, I think 435, is that how many there? Would get up and walk out. Why? Because they don't want to be controlled. There's over 300 million people in the United States. There's probably 2/3 of those, or probably maybe half, are voting age. Probably 2/3 are adults, older than 25, 30. So we could all rush Washington, D.C. and tell these jackasses, we've had enough, you're out of here. Sounds like a plan, doesn't it? Who's got the balls to make it happen? I know I've said a lot in this little short mini podcast, but I hope I got you to think, because that's what I'm here to do, folks. Hopefully I make you think. Hopefully I've stirred something within you that you would be encouraged by to go out and check things out. Let me remind you that the two-party system doesn't exist. It's not a democracy, it's a corporatist society. It's not a republic anymore. It's an elitist organization in Washington, D.C. that seems to think that they can just do whatever they want to do. And I haven't seen anyone with the balls to stand up to the politicians and say, we're done. We don't want centralized government anymore. That's what our founding fathers warned us about, folks. A centralized government with a centralized banking system. They warned us of all that. And what did we do? We bought into it. The Rothschilds in 1871 bought the United States of America back. And we've been screwed ever since. Questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Go to the website, freeamericaradio.us. If you want to contribute to the show, you can. You can sponsor this show if you want. You can get your emergency food supply there as well at the top of the page, or even in the middle of the page. I got another link there for emergency food supply as well. Again, folks, the views expressed live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network. And I'll tell you what, we got a lot of work ahead of us. We got a lot of changes to make. We have a lot of politicians to demand they do what we want. Not in the Bolshevik kind of rebellion type of way, but we need to remind them who they work for. So come join me on the views expressed live today, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network on Spreaker.com and also on freeamericaradio.us. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me, you can email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Once again, folks, you can go to freeamericaradio.us for more information. And I will talk to you later on the views expressed live today, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network.